Regards to funding, how popular or how common is the Japanese package, like where you have a scholarship, paying your tuition fee, and then receiving a stipend monthly? Do you have such kind of packages in USA?
So
Okay, it's good you mentioned funding because it leads me to my next question. Regards to funding, how popular or how common is the Japanese package, like where you have a scholarship, paying your tuition fee, and then receiving a stipend monthly? Do you have such kind of packages in USA?
for most US application, so you know how if you're applying to Japan, for example, you're looking for a scholarship, right? There are no much scholarships for applying to the US, especially graduate school, like postgraduate, like what most Nigerians call postgraduate, is what we call graduate school. That's after your bachelor's, you're going to apply for a master's or PhD. You wouldn't really see any scholarships or most for like United States, like grad school, but they do have funding. Most US schools do have one. You just have to apply for. So the first thing is apply to the program. And if you have a strong application, they will give you admission with funding. And that funding will be for you to be like a researcher, for research, doing research or for teaching. So it comes like with it's a package that comes together. So when you're applying for US schools, it's automatically like you're also applying for that funding as well. So for you to get to that point where they will really want to like give you that funding, they want your application to stand out. That's why I'm recommending all these resources. You need to have like proficiency test in case it falls down to like, okay, we don't have, for some schools, like, okay, you're not going to join a research group in your first year because you're going to be doing coursework. So that means the research assistantship funding wouldn't be available for you in your first year, right? But okay, you're proficient in English and you can teach some of these undergraduate labs and all that. Okay, we're going to give you funding for that, but you should be able to, communicate with the students and all that. So the funding that's how it goes. But there are a few funding like scholarship programs for the United States, which I don't really know much about because, like I said, I don't really worry myself about those because like, why should I go about looking for a specific scholarship where I know that I can apply to most graduate schools and then they already have funding option for me in terms of like the research assistantship and teaching assistantship. So yeah, it goes hand in hand. And then from the stipend you get, sometimes the assistantship waives your fees or sometimes it kind of like subsidizes your tuition and all that so that it becomes like affordable for you. And then with the little stipends you get, you can take care of yourself and then pay your tuition. And if you're someone that can manage resources very well, you still get a little bit, what Nigerians call change. You go get change for
expenses. Okay, that's very good to know because that's what many people would like to know. How do I fund myself? I mean, it's not easy converting naira to dollars these days. It's not.
It's yeah. And so talking about the funding again, so another thing we should mention is application fee. So when you're applying to grad schools, nothing is free, right? There's no free lunch in Jupiter. So at least you guys feel that commitment. Yes. Application fee. So you check schools you want to apply to. The good thing is, more recently, most schools are beginning to waive like the application fee. So you can look up schools, programs that, schools that are offering the program that you want to apply to. And then some of the schools can waive the application fee for you. Either they'll state it on the website that, okay, yeah, we can waive application fee for you, or you can contact the program coordinator. Sometimes you need to send them an email, say, yeah, I'm interested in applying, but I don't have the money to pay for the application fee. Is there anything that can be done for me? And then they'll consider it like, okay, we can waive it for you, like it's just, yeah, I have a strong application, but I don't have the money for it. I have some financial constraint right now. They can consider a way for you. So it's all about looking into what's available for you, what's available out there, and going for them.
Okay, thank you very much. Then my next question is, do you have like government subsidiary programs like for students, maybe subsidizing the transportation? You remember in Japan, we have the whole student IC card package where your transportation is subsidized to at least a reasonable amount, and some other things. In some other countries, maybe rent and some other things are subsidized for students. Do you have such packages or programs in the USA for
Um,
students, basically?
in, not any that I know of,
Okay.
unfortunately. Um, I don't think there are like subsidized rents or something. You just pay your standard rent. But I say what I do know is that when they give you funding,
Mm,
maybe research assistantship or teaching assistantship, especially if you have the full assistantship, they usually do it based on the estimated cost of living for
mm,
where your university is located,
mm,
right? So they'll give you something that is, commiserate with the
mm.
cost of living for the particular area that your program is. So
Okay.
there's an average cost of living. They know like
Mm,
what's the average, rent for, just a regular, apartment. What's the average cost of feeding for a student, all that. So they try to make sure that this funding would, you know, cover
it's sufficient for
what
it.
you have. Yeah. And what the university does again is like your health insurance and all that. That's why I say that sometimes they waive your tuition, or
Mm,
sometimes like they try to the school through your assistantship program might want to subsidize like your health insurance, your tuition, other bills you have to pay on campus.
mm,
But for like rent and transportation, I don't know. But something about Clemson here that I know, transportation is a big issue in the United States because of the land mass and like the population density and how things are spaced out. Most students in the United States usually would prefer to get a car. Like in the Clemson area, transportation is free.
okay.
Yeah, so the
That's
buses are free, like a campus bus that take you to the city
mm,
and all that. They're free, but they're not pretty regular because most people do have cars and
mm,
so but for other places, the transportations are not free. You can pay, but I think your funding would
cover
go a long way to cover those, and you wouldn't really be stranded or worried.
that. Okay. So that brings me to my next question. I want to know like the cheaper cities and the average cost of living. This is not to put you on edge, but let's say, for instance, uh, California, Maryland, and New York. I know the cost of living will differ. So, which cities are cheaper than the other, and how much should one budget? Of course, this budget depends on how prudent you are with your expenses, but on the average, let's say from this to that should save.
Yeah, so it is city specific, like cost of living is city specific.
Exactly.
The general trend is that for bigger cities and major cities, the cost of living goes high. Just I'll use Japan, where you live, for example. The cost of living in Tokyo is
Definitely.
way much higher
Times
than
two.
that, the cost of living in Sendai, right? You don't even want to compare like the cost of living in those two places. You can look all this up, like resources. You can look them online. For example, if you're applying to, but the thing is, if you're applying to major cities, say California, New York, Los Angeles, these big places also means like higher
Big
cost of
money.
living.
Mm,
And then, but also the good thing about it is also like most times their funding also is higher
from his rate.
compared. So
Exactly.
so they do this calculation already, like I told you, right? The university, before they give you funding, sometimes they do all these checks and balances here.
Mm,
If we want to really fund this person and give them assistantship, something, we don't just want to give them peanuts and make them stranded, right? So that they don't go about looking for other extra things to do and you know
Get
You want them
distracted.
to put in more effort to
Exactly.
what they're doing. So we want to make them at least comfortable. It's not like they're gonna make you rich. Not like they're gonna pay you $1 million, right? For that job. No, it's just that, they'll try to make it easy for you, so that you'll be comfortable at least, you can pay your bills, pay your rent. And again, if you can manage, you can have a little change in your pocket.
Okay. Still on money talks. In Japan, this average student work hours is 28 hours monthly. For the
Mm.
student visa in USA, what is the average work visa for students?
For most students here, you come with an F visa, and if you have funding, that means you have also permission to work because it's like an employment, right? So you're doing research or you're teaching, you get an F1 visa. And then for the F1 visa, I think it is capped at like during regular sessions, it's like 20 hours per week for international students. During summer, 28 hours. So it's between 20 to 24, 28 hours, I'm guessing. For that. And you'll be using that to do your research work and all that. So there's a time limit to how much you can work officially. So it's not like you can just work officially, like limitless with that. And then the university also puts those on check.
Okay. So thank you very much. So to round this up, I would like to ask you some helpful tips and advice, some things that we may not really find online that you acquired via experiences. What can you offer to some people who are looking to study in the USA that could boost their chances or help them in their search?
Um, Helpful tips is I will go back to what I said at the beginning. You gotta be self-motivated. Personally, I hate motivational speakers. I hate motivational books and like it doesn't make sense to me. It's just like it feels like someone is just blowing air over my head. You gotta confirm your own determination and passion to do whatever. And you knowing that life is hard, nothing good comes easy, but hard work would definitely pay.
True.
You have no other option than to just go for what you want. And it's better to give something a try. Even if it doesn't work, you fail, you do it again, than just like live in a wishful thinking attitude where you just lie down on your bed and wish that the world is under your feet and all that. It's never gonna happen, except maybe you're lucky or a miracle, which would only happen to a few people. But for most people, you gotta be self-motivated. And if you're self-motivated, you also gotta reach out to people. But something that also I would recommend people seeking grad school is try to be on the platform where you begin to connect to people that are in the system.
This is very
One
important.
helpful platform
Very
is
helpful.
LinkedIn.
Yes.
So if you want to really do these things and, if you don't even know where to start, go get a LinkedIn profile, begin to connect to people who are in these different areas. You can reach out to like other people who are in grad school, in your program. Just go to your LinkedIn search bar when you already registered. Say, for example, I want to try to connect to people in University of California, Berkeley. I go University of California, Berkeley, chemistry program. And then LinkedIn will recommend like maybe some graduate students or people or some professors. I try to reach out, connect to them, reach out. And, when you reach out to these people, you can begin to get information from them. People are not going to be assholes to you, say, I don't want to help, Most of these people are going to be willing. They'll see your passion. They'll be like, yeah, this person needs this information. Information is free. I don't believe that people hoard information. They want to give you that information, but sometimes you have to reach out to get that information. It's only when you seek in that you will find. So try to, have a network via LinkedIn where you connect with people, reach out to professors, and also look up programs that are helpful to you. Follow Education USA. They also have a Facebook handle. Go to Facebook, follow them, try to apply for the Opportunity Funds program. You know, there are also resources like After School Africa. It's like a website, afterschoolafrica. I don't know, it's .com or .net. But if you type After School Africa on Google, it's going to lead you to their landing page, and you begin to see some of those resources about, you know, where to start, the tips and all that. And I think that's it for me. Like, it's all about you making a conscious effort, which is way more important than any other thing I will tell you. And if you also use the internet wisely, just from today, you can just begin as like, okay, I want to start applying. I want to see more information. I want to start reading stuff. I want to go visit Education USA. Let's go and see what they have there. From the scratch, they will even begin to introduce you to the process from novice. So I think that's a very good resource to start with if you're going to if you want to apply to the US. And for other places, you look up scholarships, like, but the same thing applies to, like, if you want to go to the UK, if you wish to study in Europe or study in Japan, you know, there are embassy resources, there are scholarship opportunities for grad school. Just do your Google search. And when you do Google search, also be careful, because there are some websites out there that are really looking for a way to, you know, trick you into paying them for something that they don't deserve. So you got to be careful, try to be rational in your judgment. And, you know, if a website looks suspicious, you know, or start asking you for, you know, credit information and all that, then you should really be careful so that you don't fall into the wrong hands. But for most of the resources you're going to find online, I think most of them are going to be genuine and legitimate.
Thank you very much. It's nice to have you here. I'm really grateful that you honored my invitation. So guys, I hope you found this video very useful. If you found this very helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments below. Thank you once again, Amechi. It was nice having you here. Okay, guys, see you in the next one. Thank you.